What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dub vs. Octagon. I'm your host, Noah Lee. Let's go down UFC 313 last night. Let's talk about some of the highlights. Let's talk about what's going to happen with Alex Periera. Let's talk about what's going to happen with Ankaleav. Let's talk about what's in the books for Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Amazing performance. He never lets down. And a brutal knockout against King Green from Mauricio Ruffy, which killed that boy. So let's get right into it, guys. So main card kicked off. Mauricio Ruffy versus King Green. I think he actually changed his name to King Green, but whatever. No longer Bobby Green. King Green. King Green has forever been an anchor of this sport. What a phenomenal fighter to watch. He's always fun. He's always entertaining. He goes out there and he loves what he's doing. I believe Ruffy, these whole group of fighting nerds, they're a different level. And I love these guys. It's kind of like you have the Dagestanis and you have these fighting nerds from Brazil. And these guys are just running through people, and I love it. And I love their character that they have, just everything about it, So they go out there, which I kind of believe on the walkout, I was like, wow, this is kind of bad matchmaking. I think Bobby Green got led to slaughter, and it just wasn't that great for him. It happened very, very early in the fight. What a beautiful spinning heel kick by Ruffy. He set it up with a fade right. He faked the left. Kind of came in, faked it, spin it, boom, out cold. Hit him with a spinning heel kick. I thought the man was dead. And the crazy thing, I love how Ruffy just kind of stood there for a second. He looked, he said, "Holy, I just did that." Yes, you did, sir. And you're going to keep on doing it. And I believe that's a killer. That's a killer. Like I said, I believe all the fighting nerds are killers. They're going to be on a tear, But enough about that. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev 2. Now, I will admit, I got a little tired Saturday night. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep the night before. I kind of, But anyways, I kind of passed out. So I kind of missed the first round, but kind of going through, kind of learning what happened. Fiziev kind of had that first round, which is 100% okay. Fiziev is a killer. I knew when this fight lined up after Dan Hooker fell through after their first matchup that this was going to be a war. It was essentially going to be the same thing. I didn't think one of the guys was going to get knocked out. I did believe that it was going to go to decision, just due to the fact that they are both evenly skilled and they know what they bring to the table. Neither of them are quitters, and it's just something that they do. They go out there and they fight. They give the fans a fight that they want. Second round, Justin Gaethje kills him with that freaking uppercut. Justin Gaethje has such a mean uppercut. He does that little slip. When he slip uppercut, he hits him, and dude, he sets him on their butt. And Fiziev, though, he's got that chin on him, and he did the same thing to Chandler, just kind of came out and then brought it in. And it was, I thought that was the fight right there. He got on top, started beating him, it ended up in kind of a sprawl position and kind of grabbed like a bulldog choke a little bit, or not a bulldog, yeah, no, I'm right. I'm sorry, guys. And grabbed him from the front. He kind of had about 30 seconds to work with, and I believe he kind of could have done it, but, I think he also wanted to save the energy for the third round just in case he got there. Goes to the corner. Trevor Whitman's like, "Hey, you can knock this guy out. You can finish this guy. Just be patient. Pick your shots." And he went out there in the third round. He wasn't really tired, and, he kind of just put on a clinic again, just kind of going out there, kind of touching him, kind of hit him up. And it was just once again, just a great fight. Busted up the same eye that he did in the first fight. Justin Gaethje got Fiziev again. And I was like, man, anytime that these guys fight, it's going to be something like this. And I love it. I think it's great. You know, I even loved after the fight, Justin Gaethje said, hey, man, let's start training together. Let's not fight each other again unless it's for a belt. I know Justin Gaethje's goal is to get to the belt again. He hasn't fought Islam Makhachev, so that's a possibility. I know Ilia Topuria just vacated the title at 145 to move up, and I just don't think that they're going to give Ilia that fight right away. I think they'll try to give him a contender, and that may be Justin Gaethje. Excuse me. That may be Justin Gaethje. Gaethje might be a little upset with that if they make it fight Ilia Topuria, but I think that's something that would need to happen, you know, or at least Ilia fighting a contender and maybe Islam versus Justin Gaethje, and they, you know, do that fight while Ilia fights a top 5 or whatever, fights a contender at 155. I don't think they're just going to give him a non-ranked opponent at 155. I mean, Ilia, the Matador, he's a killer. But I don't think you just throw him in there with Islam. I think they saw how that worked with Volk. But, you know, I think Volk, he didn't vacate his title. You know, it was a little bit different how they were going about that. But I kind of like that matchup, the Justin Gaethje and Islam Makhachev. You know, back when Justin Gaethje fought Khabib the night in Abu Dhabi, and Khabib actually retired after the fight. And going into that fight, I was like, you know, if anybody could do this, I think Justin Gaethje, he has that All-American wrestling. But he doesn't use offensive wrestling. He just uses it enough for defense. So going into it, I was like, oh, that's a good matchup. You know, I think he could get Khabib in close quarters, kind of chew up the legs, stuff like that. And, you know, it might give Khabib a hard time. I thought the first round did look good for Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje does have maybe a little bit of improvement that he needs, but I feel like he may have figured that out for this Islam rematch. But some of the dudes that have fought Khabib, that have fought Islam too, Dustin Poirier, you know, being one of them, he's like, dude, I thought Khabib was a killer, and Islam just has the strength of an anaconda. Like, he grabs you and he can't get out, you know. And it's I believe Islam is great. I think he's going to go on to have a really big legacy. That whole Dagestani family is going to have a big legacy. I believe it'll work really well in that gym and everything they're doing. But I like that fight. I think that's a fight that they make. I think it would definitely sell pay-per-views. People love to watch Justin Gaethje. But also, at the end of the day, I believe Islam just goes out there and does what he does to everybody and chokes them out. Or we could see a 5-round war again, and Gaethje gets choked out of the 5th too, just like Dustin Poirier, you know? And definitely want to see that happen before Ilia hops in to fight Islam. And we'll talk about that at a different time, what I think about the Ilia Islam. And, you know, that we have a contender fight at 155 on the next pay-per-view. Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett, I believe that'll open up some stuff at 155 because Islam's running out of opponents to fight. But, you know, we'll get there when we get there. I will definitely talk about what's going on at 155 before this next pay-per-view. The main event, Alex Poatan Periera versus Magomed Ankaleav. I am a Poatan fanboy. I will not deny that. I believe what he's done for the sport, what he did in Glory Kickboxing, phenomenal. A phenomenal combat sports athlete. He is 100% will go down in a GOAT list. Definitely. There's no doubt about it. Because of what he did last year, the accolades that he's accomplished in the UFC in such a short time. But I'm not here to ride Poetan this whole time. So I was very upset, but one thing I've learned about this sport is broken my heart so many times. I believe it's probably broken a lot of your hearts too, but sometimes that's the way it goes. That's why I don't bet anymore. I always think I have the good bets, but I listen to my heart, not my head. I'm a terrible bettor. My luck is terrible, but it's okay. So the judges scored 1 and 5 for Periera, 2, 3, and 4 for Ankh. Round 3 was very, very, very close. I 100% had round 1 for Periera, round 2 for Ankh, 3 a very close round that I edged to Periera just because, you know, he's a champion. I believe you really have to beat the champion. 4 Ankh because of all the cage control time. Round 5, I thought Periera came out and looked a lot better, but he knew he had to have that urgency, try to finish the fight. Ankaleav's striking is great. He was advancing the whole time. He had the octagon control pretty much the entire time. He was the only guy to ever do this to Alex Periera and make him fight off of back foot. He had him guessing the whole time. He had him fighting super hesitant. Poetan he wasn't prepared for that. But it was a very big test for Poetan. And we saw how it went. I believe a rematch would look really good. I believe Poetan gets back into the gym. He trains. He comes back better. He just seems like one of those guys. Once he loses, he will come back. He will make the adjustments, and he will have a better fight. 100%, without a doubt, I believe that. The leg kicks of Periera chewed up that leg of Ankaleav. And Ankaleav is one tough SOB. Because, damn, that leg was damaged. He was still walking him down. Still fighting off of that foot. Yeah, every now and again he was hitting the switch stance. And, you know, I was like, oh, there's some signs of that. He doesn't want to fight with this leg being out in front anymore. He's scared to take more damage. But once Ankaleav figured out the game plan of Periera's corner, the counterattacks started coming. We saw it as early as round 2. You know, midway through, kind of towards the end, he actually was right at the end, and Ankh devastated Periera. I mean, just came in and hit him with that left, stumbled him, fell against the cage, and I was like, oh, heart drop, heart sunk, worried. Periera comes out into round 3, didn't seem too phased from what happened. Very, very back and forth in the 3rd round, very close. I'm glad I don't get paid to be a UFC judge because, probably would have had and still, but that's not my job. My job is to just talk about it. Let's see here. The judges screwed up a call early in the night. Really bad. I believe even after the interview, who is it, Fire Marshal and that Brazilian dude, heck, I can't remember. And, even after during the interview, Joe Rogan was like, did you really think you did enough? And he was like, oh yeah, he didn't do anything when he laid me on the ground. He just laying on me. And, as soon as the interview was over, the first thing John Anik said, he was like, well, champ, that was a trash decision. And who I was watching it with, we both looked at each other and we're like, oh, definitely. 100%. Trash decision, champ. Trash decision. So, once it went to decision, I kind of definitely had that feeling. I was like, I thought it was 2-2 going into 5. Gave Periera the 5th round, and still, that wasn't the case. It was 3-1 Ankh, So, it was funny because I was watching, and once they got the scorecards together, once Bruce got it, he walked back into the octagon, and he goes up to Dana. Dana's holding the belt, and Dana's like, looking at him, he's like, okay, and Dana just kind of looks at him, he says, okay, and just the look on freaking Dana White's face told me all I needed to know. I was like, yep, we got a new champion. And I know Dana White is just, that's the reason he has no hair. You know, he pulled it all out because of situations like this, but I know he's just steaming. He's got all these Dagestanis champions, and they're all great. I'm not crapping all over these dudes. They are great. They are bred and born to be champions. Um, it's the 18th title that they are taking back to Dagestan, Russia. That is crazy to me. Um, but I believe the rematch will actually happen a lot sooner than we're thinking. You know, it actually might be, me just thinking about it, might be International Fight Week. They run that fight back. That's a Poton, I believe, is still a big draw. He will be a big draw for that fight, especially being International Fight Week. People fly out from all over the world to go to that UFC X event. I believe it's a great opportunity, and I believe it gives Poton ample enough time to um, to get back on the horse, you know, and stuff like that. Like he said, though, he's getting right back into training starting tomorrow. You know, he really didn't feel like he took any damage and stuff like that, but, you know, he'll probably talk with his team and go over that kind of thing and kind of see what happens, you know. But I believe he'll come back. That rematch will happen. I don't believe Ankaleav gets Yuri or Jamal Hill with such a dominant champion in Periera. It's a justified rematch, especially with how close the fight is. It's not like Ankh went out there and annihilated him for 5 rounds. He was just a better man last night. What this means for Ankaleav, though, I mean, once he gets a rematch with Periera, when and if he wins, then we kind of open up the 205 door. Probably Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohashko will get it again, you know, because those two are really the big draws, or kind of the big people that are, you know, up there in the ranks at 205. I know Shell Sonnen was talking pretty heavy about Para moving up to heavyweight, whether this was a win or lose for him, of him going up to heavyweight. And if he does that, then Poatan will be out of the picture for Ankaleav. We'll just kind of see how this title reign goes for Ankaleav. Will he be a dominant champion like Islam Makhachev, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, I can't think of his name, Khabib's cousin over at Bellator, that Nurmagomedov, you know, can he have a title reign like that, or are we going to be seeing Poatan, Ankaleav back and forth, you know, kind of like an Izzy Poatan situation? I can see that happening too, but once again, Pereira might do the thing. If he wins the title back, he'll just go up to heavyweight because he kind of sees the picture of, I don't want to just keep fighting this guy back and forth. But I believe they would all be great fights. Ankaleav, I'm pretty excited to see as a champion at 205. Like I said, striking's phenomenal. I think he has just enough wrestling to, you know, keep his opponent guessing like he did with Periera. You know, he kind of mixed it in really well, and Periera wasn't used to that. Took a lot out of the gas tank for Alex, and like I said, just a better man. So that's my takeaway from UFC 313. Periera versus Ankaleav. Thanks everybody for the support. I'm so sorry that I've been, you know, kind of out of it. I haven't been making any videos. I want to get back into it. I'm so passionate about this. I don't really care about trying to make money or anything. I love talking about this, and I feel like with this platform I can talk to people. And so thank you guys very much for being a part of this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Next time we'll jump into, I believe we got Moreno coming up and Urseg, and there's a couple other things, and I'll get that thrown into there. So everybody, thanks again. I will catch you next time on to first octagon. Peace.